Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Levin. I am Michael's father of blessed memory, and it is with both reverence and pride that I stand before you this evening, the father of a remarkable young man who gave all that he had to defend the nation that he loved so dearly. Michael's journey was a long and arduous one. It began in the suburbs of Philadelphia, where he grew up with his two sisters, Elisa and Dara, in a conservative Zionist home. He was a proud grandson who was inspired by the courage of his two grandfathers. My dad, a decorated combat veteran of the Second World War, and my father-in-law, a Polish Holocaust survivor who spent 26 torturous months in Auschwitz. He and Michael were very close. As a young man, Michael was very proud of his Judaism, his heritage, and especially the nation of Israel. So much so that he felt compelled to answer to a higher calling and follow his dream by making Aliyah and serving in the IDF. He also had aspirations of becoming a career officer. At the end of his second year in service, Michael happened to be home on leave just as the Second Lebanon War broke out. I can still vividly remember him sleeping on the floor in front of the TV for 2 days straight. He anxiously watched the war erupt on CNN, and like a caged animal, he paced up and down the room, back and forth, over and over again. With a cell phone glued to his ear, he desperately tried to reach his friends and commanding officers in Israel. Having no success, he informed us that he just couldn't stay home any longer, that he had to return to Israel. This, despite the fact that Michael had the same dream, the same reoccurring dream, week after week, month after month, for 2 years, a dream that he would be killed in combat. Of course, Harriet and I knew nothing of these fateful premonitions, only finding out about them 2 months after Michael's passing. Well, soon Harriet and I, along with Michael's two sisters, found ourselves hugging and kissing Michael goodbye in front of the El Al Departure Lounge at JFK Airport in New York. It turned out to be the last time we would ever see him. When he returned to Israel, he was told to either stay where he was or go to Hebron for guard duty. Michael's unit had already been briefed and was on its way to northern Israel for a possible ground incursion into Lebanon. To no one's surprise, Michael disobeyed orders and took off north, traveling any way he could, getting any ride he possibly could, eventually discovering the whereabouts of his unit. Upon seeing him, his commanding officer refused to allow him to join his squad without permission or the appropriate orders. According to eyewitnesses, a long and heated argument ensued between Michael and his commanding officer until finally his commander threw up his arms in frustration and said, "Fine, do what you want to do, Michael." Michael was now exactly where he wanted to be, doing exactly what he was trained to do: defend Israel with every fiber of his being. This was his moment. Out of the 121 IDF fatalities in the Second Lebanon War, Michael was the first paratrooper and the only American to fall in that conflict. As per his wishes, he was laid to rest at the military cemetery Har Herzl on Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. His funeral was attended by thousands. Aside from being a passionate Zionist who spent his first 2 nights in Israel sleeping on a park bench and then broke into the IDF's enlistment office by climbing through an open window on the 2nd floor to get into the Army, Michael was also a dreamer and a visionary. He was inspired by the words of a famous American, Robert Kennedy, President Kennedy's brother, who is often quoted as saying, "Some people see things that are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not." This was Michael. Serving as a lone soldier, someone with no immediate family in Israel, he was hampered, as all lone soldiers are, with a series of problems, challenges, and obstacles that native-born Israelis do not have to contend with. He would often share these with us during our weekly conversation calls. As a result, he approached a dear friend of his and a mentor, suggesting that when he finished the service, that together they would create a national lone soldier organization, a center, a place that was solely dedicated to the unique needs of the thousands of lone soldiers serving in the IDF. At that time, no such organization existed. I'm proud to say that today there are multiple organizations and facilities that do just that. The most recent is the Michael Levin Base, our co-host for tonight, a dynamic, vibrant, and highly effective organization that is transforming the lives of Israel's lone soldiers. In America, we created the Michael Levin Lone Soldier Foundation, which financially supports several of these organizations. Because of the tireless efforts of hundreds of dedicated, committed, and talented people who make it their life's mission to improve the lives of lone soldiers, Michael's dream has become a reality. Where once the term lone soldier was relatively unknown and a little understood concept, today I'm proud to say that things have changed, and they've changed for the better. For today, there is a new awareness, understanding, and most important, a new appreciation for lone soldiers and the vital contribution they're making to the IDF. This was Michael's legacy. But today isn't just about Michael or lone soldiers. It's about the victims of terror and the thousands upon thousands of brave young men and women who for 75 years fought, bled, and died to keep this nation safe. Without hesitation, they heeded the call to arms when this country was in peril and needed them the most. And so, as we begin this solemn day of Yom HaZikaron, let us all be comforted by the fact that the spirit of Zionism and the love of this country are both alive and well, for they live in the hearts, minds, and souls of the brave young men and women who have sworn to defend it with their lives. And finally, it has been said that when a man dies, he dies with but 3 possessions: his heart, his soul, and his spirit. His heart, well, that stays with him. His soul returns to God. But his spirit continues to live on in the memories of those he left behind. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us, all of us, on this sacred day, to remember, to honor the ultimate sacrifice that our loved ones made for this nation. For by doing so, their spirit will continue to shine bright, and they will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you.
I defend the state of Israel because Israel is my home.
Israel is my home.
Israel is my home.
I defend the state of Israel because Israel is my birthright.
Israel is my birthright.
Never again will Jews be afraid.
Never again will Jews live in fear.
Every Jew is responsible for one another.
I defend the state of Israel from my family and myself.
I defend the state of Israel for the children of today.
The survivor of yesterday.
The next generation and every generation after.
Those who did not have the ability to defend it.
הנני נשבע ומתחייב
בהן צדקי לשמור אמונים.
מדינת ישראל, לחוקיה ולשלטונותיה.
המוסמכים לקבל על עצמי, ללא תנאי
וללא סייג,
עול משמעותו של צבא ההגנה לישראל, לצייג את כל הפקודות וההוראות הניתנות
על ידי המפקדים
המוסמכים, ולהקדיש את כל כוחותיי ואך
להגנת חיי
להגנת המולדת
ולחירות ישראל.